Okay class, so I took a little screen recording of myself doing warm-up 1 on an iPad. So let's go through it together, and hopefully you will be able to follow along. So to start with, I made sure that I airdropped to myself the MP4, not the GIF, of the horse timeline, which is available in the files, student files. So you'll need the MP4 and not the GIF because GIFs don't really cooperate with Procreate Dreams. So we'll go ahead and airdrop that to ourselves or email it to yourself, however you want to get that onto your iPad. You can also use the iCloud if you have that set up well. So I'll just scrub through this. Next, you'll need to go to your Procreate Dreams, and I had a previous sort of attempt here, so I'm going to delete those. And I'm going to create a new video for myself, a new animation for myself. So I'm going to hit this plus button over here. If you're not familiar with Procreate Dreams, I added a link to a really nice baseline tutorial for just navigating Procreate Dreams, what the different hand motions are to sort of navigate it. So definitely check that out. It's really well done. So I'm going to go hit plus, and we're going to make a new animation here. I'll click on these 3 dots here to set my frame rate and duration. So I've dropped it down to 12 frames per second. It was originally 24, and I'm just going to do 2 seconds. It's not really that important how long the duration is. I just don't want it to be really, really long because that'll get annoying for you. So I did 2 seconds. All right. So then we're going to go ahead and also hit our draw here because we want to start off in draw mode. Right, so this is my new canvas. I'm in draw mode, you can tell because this little red squiggle is highlighted. And I'm going to bring in the video that I want to rotoscope over by hitting this plus button here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and hit this video, and I'm going to bring in that horse timeline video that I imported earlier. All right, so now you can see that it's here on the bottom in this timeline, and it's looping fairly well. So I am going to now add a new track. So a track is just like a layer in Photoshop. It's like a transparent onion skin piece of paper. You can't see the layer, but you can modify it without modifying anything underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this plus button to add a new track. And I'm going to start drawing on top of that. So I want to pick my color. I can go ahead and hit this brush up here. I can change the pencils that I want. So one of the strengths of Procreate is that it has a ton of brush options. This is definitely a place where I would love for you to really take over creatively. If you've already been working with your iPad in this way, please don't hold yourself back on my account. Whatever it is that you find beautiful and interesting within this program, please take control there, do whatever you like. I'm just using a sort of pencil, scratchy style as a creative choice because I think it's sort of interesting, but whatever you think is cool to me too. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw over this frame sort of roughly and quickly. It's going to be in this sort of sketchy crayon style. And when I'm done with this layer, I'm going to go ahead and I'll hold on this little flip book down here. A plus will appear, and I'll hit that plus to make a new frame. All right, so right now you can see there's this little bit of purple here. This is my onion skin. Onion skinning just means that you can sort of see what's happening in the previous frame in a different color, so that you know it's not what's on your frame right now. It's extremely useful when you're drawing the whole thing, drawing the whole motion. But right now the rotoscope is sort of providing all that motion information, so it's kind of distracting, and I'm going to turn that off by clicking and holding on this down here and just turning off onion skins. So I'm going to scrub through this, just sort of go through and do this over and over. One thing I find a little bit annoying about Procreate is that if you click and hold too long while you're drawing on any point in the composition, you'll actually select that color as if you're using an eyedropper tool. So I find myself having to go back and reselect the color I really want. If you guys figure out a hack around that, awesome. I just sort of try not to hold my pen down for too long. So I'll go through and do this until I sort of run out of frames to draw. There should be, I believe there were 10 of them, maybe 11. And I'll know I've reached the end because I've gotten to this sort of blank page. So I'm going to now get myself out of flipbook mode by clicking and slamming down that flipbook mode. And then I'm going to delete my extra little hanging frame there just by holding it and clicking delete. So now I want to go ahead and play this and see what I got. So I think that's pretty darn cool. You can, of course, embellish this if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and export by holding this little collage over here, which will just take you back to the main page. All right. So now I can click and hold on my little composition here and select an export mode. So I'm going to export this actually as a series of frames as images because I want to create a GIF on my computer. The Procreate itself is it's just not cooperative with GIFs really. So you'll have to bring it onto your computer to compile your final GIF to turn in. So I'll show you that here in just a minute. Hi again, so we have now pulled up all of my frames from Procreate. So I have some duplicates here that I will have to sort of sort out when I get to the process of actually compiling this GIF. So that's a little bit inconvenient, but we'll run through how we can do it. There's a couple different ways to create GIFs out of a series of images. So when we started the class, when we were installing software, I showed you how you could do it with Adobe Animate. The reason I chose Adobe Animate for that was because I wanted everyone to sort of become familiar with that program. However, personally, I actually prefer to use Photoshop to make GIFs. So I'm going to just show you another way to prepare an egg or another way to make a GIF. So I'll do this with Photoshop this time. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Photoshop, go ahead and hit File, Scripts, and then load files into Stack. Once this flyout panel comes up, I'm going to go ahead and hit Browse, and I am going to select all of my images here. There we go. Hit Open, and then I will go ahead and hit OK. So this will automatically bring all of the files in over here in a layer. All right, so it just takes a little bit of patience while it's doing that, but now you can see all of my files are loaded here in my layers. I also have a timeline here underneath my canvas. So this is not one of the automatic settings for Photoshop. So if your timeline is not visible, go ahead and go up to Window, and then under all of these options here, make sure there is a check mark next to Timeline. Okay, so if you have your timeline, there are two different options for timelines. There are frame animations, and if you click this down arrow, there are video timelines. So actually you can animate pretty well with the video timeline. I think the only real function for frame animation is making GIFs, but since that's what we're doing today, let's go ahead and click this button, Create Frame Animation. One frame is made automatically, but I want all of my layers to be frames, so I will do that. I will go ahead and click these three horizontal lines here, and I'm going to say Make Frames from Layers. Okay, So you can see that all of my frames are now, or all my layers are now frames. I'm gonna go ahead and search through these and make sure all of these are unique, because I think I spotted some duplicates. So this looks like it's a duplicate. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. So this is a mismatch between the frame rate that I drew in and the frame rate that I exported. This is a solvable issue, but we can just do it on the back end here now. All right, so I'm gonna delete this duplicate as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Okay, so my horse is actually running backwards, which is not what I want. So I'm gonna reverse all of these frames. I'm gonna click the last one, shift, and then click the first one. Go back over to my 3 horizontal lines here, and I am going to say reverse frames. And now I will hit play. Lovely. Okay, so this is exactly what I want. I am going to go ahead and export this GIF and turn it in. So I'll go up to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. And I get this flyout panel again, very similar to the one we had before from Adobe Animate. Just go ahead and check that we like everything here. So it's a GIF, it's looping forever. It's a little big, I think. So I want this to sort of look good on the scale of just Canvas internet, not really like a video quality, which is what we have here. So I'm gonna just reduce this down to, say, 800. And then I'm going to hit save. I'm going to name this Swan Warm-Up 1. Actually, let me put my first name in there too, just in case. People with the same last name. And I'll make sure it's saving to somewhere I like. So I'll put this in Project 1. And I'll hit save. All right, so now I have something I can turn in for full credit. Thanks so much for following along. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.